Hey there, welcome back to Our Dragon Adventures. I'm Scott Keckler,
And I'm Rob McPherson.
and this is our ranking of the Tiny Epic universe. So, this is kind of just a fun video for us. We've been talking about this for a little bit, and since we had gotten in a copy of one of the newest games, and actually just recently played a game that we had been sitting on for a while, we decided to both rank the 12 games and just talk about it, our rankings on here. Not spend a lot of time on each games, maybe just a little bit on our top picks.
Yeah, as you can see, Gamelin Games has a lot of our money.
Absolutely.
Although, actually, they're all very affordable, so it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, so we both have quite a bit of the games in our collection, and some of them are some of my favorite games, and just wanted to have this fun chat and see what some of your rankings are as well. So if you can go ahead, if you're watching the video when you're done, post your list as well. We'd love to react and see some of those.
Yeah, so we actually went on to Pub Meeple and did the ranking
Engine that they have.
ranking engine. Thank you, that they have, so that we could be completely fair about this and just see where they fell.
Right,
so,
doesn't create an arbitrary list. We both use that engine to create these, so it was forcing us to be like, if I had to play these two, which would I choose?
Yeah, so check that out if you're ever obsessive about board games like we are.
Yeah, they take donations to help run that engine, which is really helpful. If you want to go through your whole collection, you can also use it there. So
We're gonna have to do that soon.
I've done it once this year, and I'm gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, we got to give it our top 10 for the end of the year for you guys.
Absolutely.
We have 350 games to go through.
Yeah, about that. So probably like about 1,500 questions.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, with that, we're gonna rank the 12 Tiny Epic games that are out.
Absolutely. So
you want to kick things off with your number 12?
Absolutely. My number 12, and I think we'll be aligned here, but it's actually not on the table right now. I forgot to bring it over, probably for reasons, is Defenders. So Tiny Epic Defenders is a crisis management game set in the Gamelin fantasy universe, and just doesn't click for me. And we've talked about this in other videos. I just don't like crisis management.
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree 100% with what he just said. It's also my number 12.
Yeah, so not a lot to say on there. If you like crisis management, you might enjoy it. Worth checking out.
Yep.
I guess we can move on to my number 11, and that is, unfortunately, I was Tiny Epic Dungeons. I was really looking forward to that one.
Yep.
I think the ticking clock on that game is, we got it right over there.
Yep.
Hurts a little too much for me, but it's a dungeon crawl with limited exploration, mostly trying to beat the puzzle of finding what you need to find.
So it's not just the ticking clock for me, though. It's also the crisis management, because if you
Right.
get too many goblins on the board, you lose. And to me, a dungeon crawl is part of fun of a dungeon crawl sometimes is being like, I have 72 monsters on the board and I'm just running away to do stuff. And you don't get that fun here. Like, you can't just avoid them. You have to face them.
Right, and they're just kind of appearing everywhere versus like, I will open a room and here's the monster, I fight it. So,
Right.
But again, it's very pretty. I have a lot of the stuff. it's not one that sticks for me.
Yep, same.
What was your 11?
My number 11 is actually Tiny Epic Zombies. I won't lie. That one actually surprised me that it was this low on the list. It could just be because I'm a little bit zombie burned out. Maybe that's it. But it's a zombie game. So one of you can play. Actually, there's a couple different modes.
There's
right?
cooperative. There is 1v many.
Yeah, so we played the 1v many. So maybe this will shift after we play the co-op at some point. But the 1v many, like, it was fun. Like, we were running around collecting resources, taking the car meeple. That was the best part, and driving that around. I don't know. It just didn't feel unique enough of a zombie game for me.
I think it's a pretty well-tread area. I can touch on it just briefly too.
Yep.
But my number 10, moving on, is Tiny Epic Tactics.
We are in alignment there.
Oh, okay, good, excellent. So we got there as well. Tactics is fun.
Yep.
I think that it's better as the way it's built. It's better as a competitive game. The cooperative version of the game just drags.
Yeah, and that's something I'll preface. It might be that low on the list. We have not played it competitive yet.
I think I've played it solo though, haven't I?
Yeah, you did. You borrowed it solo. That's right. The solo is competitive.
The solo is better. Right. I like the solo competitive part where you're just fighting.
Yeah. So we haven't played it multiplayer competitive.
Correct. But
so again, maybe it'll change, but I'm with you on it.
It's good. I like the meeples in it. I think it's a fun game. I like the really innovative to use the box as the terrain. Is fantastic.
I really like that. And I'm sad that the best part about that is only in cooperative, which is the mode I don't like, which is you flip the box over and you're actually inside the dungeon.
Right.
That's really cool, and I wish it showed up in competitive.
Right. So we can move on to 9 then.
Yep.
Is my number 9 is Tiny Epic Quest. Now I've only played this solo. It is, I think it's fun. I like that it has the item meeples.
Yep.
But it just doesn't click for me. It's not my most engaging game in the mix.
Sure. Yeah. My number 9 is actually Tiny Epic Dungeons. We spoke about it already. I like it a little bit more than you. But yeah, we spoke as to what my thoughts are.
Yeah, it's. I want to like it more than I do.
The minis are fantastic.
Coming in at number 8 for me is Tiny Epic Zombies. Kind of in the same boat with you. It is pretty well-worn territory on zombies.
Yep.
I think there's some interesting things happening there. I like how the map works and the travel. I struggled when we played it 1v many as the zombies, but
Yeah.
it's just.
Yep.
It's fine. It's obviously better than some of these other ones for me, but
Right. Yeah.
that's where I land with it.
So my number 8 is going to be Tiny Epic Pirates. Pick up and deliver. You're playing pirates, sailing your boats around and picking up treasure and burying it and everything. Now, again, some of these I do have to preface. This might be so low on the list just because our friend Greg destroyed us. Like, Sean and I were playing. We're like, oh, we're doing pretty good. We're about to bury our first treasure. And Greg's like, all right, I just buried my third one. I win. And we're like, what just happened?
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that. So my number 7 is Tiny Epic Pirates.
Okay. Yep.
And I agree with you. Like, I feel like why some other games beat it on this list is in the competitive version of the game, one player can just start the game off by hammering on somebody and get an advantage early game.
Yeah.
That said, I love the solo part of Tiny Epic Pirates.
I gotta borrow it from you to play it solo.
Yeah, it's really fun going up against you and that one pirate ship working around the Navy, and then it becomes this fun puzzle of like, how do I trick the AI pirate ship into the Navy ship?
I will say the Navy ships coming at me were terrifying.
Yeah, so I think it really sings as a solo game. It can be a little bit to set up for a solo for a Tiny Epic.
Yeah.
But I really get a kick out of it.
Pushing that tiny.
Yeah, so number 7 though, I do love Tiny Epic Pirates as solo.
My number 7 is Tiny Epic Galaxies. I really like the game. It's a fun game. It is what would you consider that?
It's definitely the lightest in the set.
It's not an engine build.
It's an action follower or dice
placement,
action follower,
resource management game.
Yeah.
I like it. It's fun. It's just a little bit too light for me to hit higher up on my list.
Yeah, it's funny. It's number.
No,
actually, we're not there yet. Number 6 for me.
Spoilers.
I know spoilers. Mine's. So number 6 for me is Tiny Epic Westerns. So, and that was one that I kind of slept on for a little bit, and then I got a really good price on it at a game garage sale.
Yeah.
And I got like an entire. I didn't realize until I got home.
Deluxified.
Yeah, the person had deluxified everything in the box, which was kind of hilarious because I got it for like $5. But played it. I really loved it. I think it is a fun worker placement game, which I really love worker placement, and the Western theme is amusing. I get a kick out of the dueling over a spot because worker placement sometimes you have to overspend. So sometimes you just overspend, but I love the idea of like having a shootout to see who keeps the spot on the worker placement map.
We had a shootout once. He rolled a 6. I rolled a 1.
If
I had rolled anything other than a 1, I think I would have been okay.
Probably, but
if I remember correctly,
the dice love me,
and they don't love me.
No.
So number 6 for me is Tiny Epic Kingdoms.
Okay.
It's a great game. It's a great 4X game. I'm liking it more now that you got all the expansions for it. Mm-hmm. So I reserve the right to let this climb on my list because I do love 4X games. But it just it's a solid game. It's just their whole library is solid, and these top 5, 6 slots are getting competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of getting competitive here, number 5, Tiny Epic Galaxies. I know you had a little lower.
Yep.
I just love it for it's the lightest, easily the lightest game in the series.
Yep.
But that's what I like about it. It's one of the Tiny Epics I can break out and play a game in 20 or 30 minutes with people.
Yeah.
And
it used to be your number 1.
It used to be my number 1. I still absolutely love it, but I've just played so many of them now, and they've had more come out.
Yep.
But I just think it's fun. I have all the mats for it. Like it's a fun, fast.
Yeah, and I'll never say no to it.
Yeah,
even though it fell on my list.
It's an easy game to get to the table. It's just fantastic. But that's my number 5.
Yep. My number 5 is hidden behind my lock screen. My number 5 is Tiny Epic Western. I love worker placement games. Scott hit all the best points of it. I love worker placement games.
Oh, also I love the incorporation of the poker cards in the game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. No, they did a great job with that too. Yep.
So it's just fun theming. Done well that we avoided for way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What's your 4?
Number 4 used to be higher. This one's got knocked down a little bit. This is Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. By far the silliest art in the series.
That's why we avoided it for so long.
We avoided it, and then we played it, and we're like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah, I picked it up at PAX last year.
Yeah, and we really loved it. It is a fun worker placement.
Yep, worker placement.
Engine building, kind of?
Yeah, engine build. So it's park building, so it's engine building. Or not park building, sorry, it's
a ranch, like a dinosaur
building,
ranch. Yeah. So you're raising dinosaurs, you're selling dinosaurs to dinosaur parks.
Yep.
A lot of fun. One of the crunchiest games in their series.
Easily, yeah.
And that's why I think I love it so much.
Yeah. My number 4 is Tiny Epic Quest. It was described to me in a couple of reviews I saw as old school Zelda, and I feel that.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I do feel that. Like, it's not quite as crunchy as old school Zelda, but it's got it.
I can see that a little bit, like, now that you mention it, though.
Yeah. With the temples, trying to get through the temples.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. I actually, it fell higher on my list than I expected, and I need to break it out again soon. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I maybe I'll give it another try.
Yeah, and the item meeples.
Maybe try multiplayer.
Yeah, we should do that, because I've only played it solo, too.
Yeah.
But the item meeples.
Yeah,
I love the item meeples. And the item meeples in this one, they come with a weapons rack that you put the spare weapons on.
Yeah. So, speaking of item meeples, and a big upset, coming in at number 3 for me is Tiny Epic Mechs right here.
Yeah.
I did, again, avoided this one. I actually bought this one again as a used copy somewhere and got it a little cheaper. Sat on my shelf of shame forever. We played it recently, and oh my god, it's so much fun. And I had avoided it because of complaints about the combat system. I feel like you're playing the game for the game. Yeah, it's not a skirmish game. You're playing the game for the wrong reasons. It is a area control game, which is why I like it.
Yeah.
So area control, and you get to like kind of engine build up your little.
It's a lighthearted take thatty area control game. Like, it doesn't take much to knock people's area control off of it, and that's where the fun chaos comes in.
Right, and I think that's what the best part of it is, because like there's some strategy happening, but occasionally there's just these stupid things that happen with the planning the robots.
Like when Sean kicked me out of the Mighty Mech, and I fell into a space that made you come in and kill me in that space. Which actually helped me in the long run.
No,
but boy, was it humiliating in the short term.
Oh yeah, it's just very fun. Again, it has the item meeples. You get to put the meeple inside of a little mech for the meeple. It's so much fun. And it's not just about it's about buying a bunch of upgrades for your mech, but it's not really about like just sitting there and wailing on each other. I think it's a really good game. You should definitely check it out if you haven't.
My number 3 is going to be Tiny Epic Vikings. What? Vikings, you say?
I know. This is our prototype copy I have as one of the honorary producers.
So this is Scott's kid's education that's sitting right here, or at least the cost of it.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, he picked up an early copy of it. In fact, this was a surprise to you. You didn't know you were getting it early,
Yeah, I totally forgot. Like, I know I'm getting my copy earlier with all my other bells and whistles, but this was one of the actual prototype copies they sent to me a couple months ago. I know I put something on our TikTok, but...
Yeah. It is, so ironically, I haven't played the game that it's related to, but it's Tiny Epic Blood Rage, pretty much.
Essentially.
And I really like it. I love the fact that when you take territories back from people, like the values go up and everything. I think it's really fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I can go right into that.
I've only played it once.
My number 2, and I played it a bunch, but my number 2 is Tiny Epic Vikings. This one obviously shot up the list a lot because it's technically not out yet, but...
Yep.
I've played both this and the expansion. I played it solo. I played it with a few 2-player games. I like to play at higher player counts.
Yeah.
But I just... what you said about Blood Rage. Blood Rage to me is my least favorite in the Eric Lang trilogy. This to me fixes some of those issues. I like how quick you can play it. I'm looking forward to all the deluxe components for it, because right now it's all the...
prototype stuff. Yeah.
Prototype, very basic stuff. But I'm just very excited with this one. The Ragnarok expansion is a lot of fun, where you get to kill frost giants. Excellent game.
Yeah, I get to play with that.
I want to do area control all the time.
So for me, my number 2 is going to be Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. Really, really solid game. For me, it's the ranching is cool. I love the puzzle of mapping out your ranch and figuring that out. I love the tech tree stuff that you can do. I'm not great at it. I don't know if I've ever won this game.
I don't think I've ever won this game. Maybe once.
Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I just picked up the lab expansion to it, which we actually have not gotten through a full game of that, because remember, we got interrupted the only time we tried with the lab stuff.
Yeah, it's...
But no, it's a really fun game. Definitely up there. The art on the cover, meh. The art inside is great.
Yeah, it's deceptively cute on the outside.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're ripping your throats out in there. Like.
Yeah, they're eating each other.
Yeah.
It's like and that brings me to my number one of the Tiny Epic universe. You've already mentioned it, obviously, but it's Tiny Epic Kingdoms.
Yep.
I have that with Heroes Call and both the micro expansions, and to me, it's just one of the best tiny area control games you can play.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I love, for me, again, this is like my D&D nerd, the fact that I have like 30 or 40 faction armies that I can choose from. Like I can play every game. I can play I play halflings and be this very silly army, or I can be.
I played the changelings once. That was great.
Yeah,
every time you level up, you just choose a different
it's
race.
so modular. There's so much going on. There's exploration tokens. Yeah. There's the heroes that you can have with the Heroes Call game. It just has a lot.
Yeah.
It's basically Tiny Epic Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Yeah.
And I love it for those reasons. So that's my number one.
Great game. Love it. My number one is actually going to be Tiny Epic Mechs.
Surprising, but not
didn't
surprising
see it
and
coming.
not surprising, yeah.
It's just a ton of fun. And so the way I described it to Scott, we played it 2-player first. And it surprised us because it was a different game than we were expecting.
Right.
And then it surprised us because we really, really liked it. And I was saying to him, if I went into it not expecting the chaos that it is, I don't think I would like it. But playing it 2-player, and then we've played it 3-player, I want to play it 4-player so badly because the chaos of like, I've got this under control, and then a turn later, you're like, well, everyone has taken out all my mines and turrets.
Well, and it's not completely disarming because it was hilarious about the super mech or whatever, the mega mech.
Yep.
When somebody grabs it, like because of the chaos, if you get up to 4 players, like depending on how people jump in, you could easily lose it, and there's more of that kind of king of the hill happening.
Yeah, like in the 2-player, you got the mighty mech early on, and you kept it the whole game.
It's impossible. It becomes so hard to like take me out. But if I am having to deal with 2 people
still
jumping
won,
around,
but.
yeah. But still, I mean, it's or like we slept on it because people forget it's an area control game, and I think you and I were fighting each other. We forgot that Sean had expanded across this whole corner of the map, and there was just no way the game was over. Like even though we were doing okay, keeping up, eventually we knew he was going to score us out.
Yeah.
So I do love that one.
Yep, sleeper win for me. But yeah, so that's our ranking of the 12 Tiny Epic games in their universe. If you have not played any of the Tiny Epic games, pick one up. Just look back through our list, find the one that sounds the most interesting to you, pick it up. They are really well-designed games, really well-built games. The only thing I will warn you on is watch a how-to video on some of them because their rule books sometimes leave a little to be desired.
Yeah, it's funny. The ones that I definitely end up liking the most are the ones that I think the rules are I just fly through better. The accessibility is huge for these. So love to see your list in the comments below. Yeah. Also love to see your predictions on what you think the next Tiny Epic game is going to be.
Yeah, we should start a pool on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because so as soon as Vikings probably fulfills, they'll get their next one out. That's usually how they probably end of this year and early next year. So hope you guys like this. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll have maybe we'll do some other rankings as well for different publishers and different game series. Excellent.
Maybe a chip theory ranking is next.
Oh God. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and we wish you good luck with all of your board game adventures.
Thank you for joining us on ours.